Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Complete Sports Media's podcast. I'm your host, Darren Campbell, and joining me for a weekend wrap-up of sports, as always, Jason Cameron. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing good. It's I was able to finally continue fixing my car, so I got my tire.
Nice.
Everything's good. I'm happy.
Good. I found it really funny that unbeknownst to each other, when we talked on Saturday, we did the exact same thing on Friday in two different locations, but we ended up doing the exact same thing, which I didn't know you were doing that. You didn't know I was doing that. And I thought that was awesome and funny.
Yeah, no, it was awesome, and it was funny because it was just unexpected that you would be doing literally the same thing that I was doing, which was you went to a concert with bands that you know very well. So you went backstage. I went to a concert with a band I know very well. I went backstage, and we both had a fantastic time.
Yeah, no, I couldn't believe how great of a time I had. I missed it so much. I've always been a big concert goer, love live music. I just love the energy, the vibe, the creativity of the artists. So much of it just interests me, and I didn't realize how much I miss it.
Yeah, myself neither. But with that being said, it's still not quite what it used to be.
Not the same.
You got to sit down on the dance floor now and be there in your chair and appreciate the music for what it is.
Yeah, true. Yeah, no mingling. Everybody's sitting down in chairs on the floor, which I've never seen in the Commodore. I've been to the Commodore hundreds of occasions, and this is very weird. That must be strange for them, having to have the entire crowd sitting down, and not having that great dance floor that's got the rubber tires underneath and has that bounciness to it and creates so much energy there. It's such a hell of a place. I went to the Rickshaw. Rickshaw is fun, but Commodore is just definitely one of my favorite venues in the world.
Yeah, it's an excellent venue, great sound, great opportunities to dance if that comes back, hopefully at some point. But the venue's awesome. It's fantastic, and the staff there is excellent. And I can't say enough about the concert. My buddy is in the concert. He plays the drums, and the band is Roy and John. I forgot how good they actually are. Right. I'm sorry, boys. I forgot. They're incredibly good. They're incredibly talented, and I had a fantastic time.
So John and Roy, what about the rest of the band members? How come they don't get to have their name in the band?
I don't know. I guess, there's a hierarchy in any band, right?
Okay.
So John and Roy, it's them, and everybody else fills in.
Okay. So they're just no-name guys in the back, and they do their stuff.
Role players, my friend. Okay. Role players.
All right, cool. Well, I checked out some of their videos, and they seem really awesome. I can't wait to hear more of them, and hopefully next time when they come around, you'll let me know, and I'll come join you down there.
Most certainly. They put on a great show.
Yeah, I went to see a few bands. I caught two of the three acts that night. I was a little late, but Iron Kingdom was the first band, and Unleash the Archers were the next band. And I got a chance to chat with them backstage, and they've said they would do a podcast with me. So can't wait. Really excited to have them on our network and have them on our airwaves. An incredible band. They do power metal, and they are phenomenal musicians that really fun to spend time with. They all had their family and friends there, because I think that was the first show they had done locally since COVID. So really good, intimate gathering, and a ton of fun. It was amazing.
That's awesome. That's fantastic, especially with the fact that, we just haven't done these things in so long. It's nice to finally be able to go out and experience music and have fun with their friends. It's nice. It's nice. It's slowly coming back. It's not what it used to be, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
Eventually.
The singer asked if everybody could raise their hand if this was their first concert out of COVID since COVID, and I couldn't believe how many hands were up. It was most of these people's first time at a show like that in a couple of years, and man, we need it. I'm so glad that we're back. I can't wait till it's fully back and it's back to exactly normal and all that, and it's going to be amazing. Tons of great shows, I'm sure, through the winter and on into next year. Hey, we were able to have lunch today, which was awesome. We were able to take in a recommendation from a guy and go find this special lunch place. And I saw tears in your eyes, I think for the second time in my life, when you bit into the sandwich that we had today. Man, that was something out of this world. I think I'm going to be thinking about it all week. It's going to be hard for me not to go and eat that a lot, but what a sandwich. What a place. How do you pronounce the name of the place?
Okay, it's Italian. I'm gonna go with Kofi's.
Okay.
Maybe. I think it is. First off, I'm sorry if I butchered your name. I'm not Italian, but I think like it's Kofi's. I'm gonna go with Kofi's Meat and Deli, and there's like 3 window fronts. So we went to 2 of them and kept missing where we're supposed to get the sandwiches until the 3rd time's the charm, and then we found it. And what I think the name of the sandwich was a prosciutto. Anyways, delicious.
Oh my God.
Delicious. I cried tears of joy, real tears.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it just was. I couldn't believe how tasty it was. My goodness. It definitely, just brightened up my whole day, man. It just couldn't believe how great of a recommendation that was. And it was nice that we could chat over the weekend, watch a ton of sports, and then break them down today. We got to have lunch. We got to have one of the best sandwiches in the world. And today was a good day. Went quite quick.
Yeah, it was a good day. It was a very good day. It went quickly. And yeah, you know what? I think these next couple of weeks are going to go quickly because we're counting down now till we get to our Christmas break, which I am certainly looking forward to.
Yeah, no kidding. It's a big week this week down south. They've got their Thanksgiving break. Some of the productions that we know people on take their break as well, Thursday, Friday, for all the Americans be able to fly home. We've got some football games to talk about for Thursday's matchups, but there is a Monday nighter going on right now. 2 touchdown lead for Tampa Bay, sort of expected. I didn't think the Giants would give them that much trouble. Was kind of surprised that they even had it close recently, but Tampa Bay should be able to blow them out as it goes forward.
Yeah, because so Daniel Jones, quarterback for the Giants, just threw an interception. I saw the replay. There was nobody there. He literally passed it to the Buccaneers defensive lineman, and that was his first interception ever.
Really? Wow.
Oh yeah, man. Like there was another lineman in the vicinity, but not a running back. I don't know what he was doing. I don't know what he saw. He passed it to a lineman, and he got an interception.
That's hilarious. And Eli and Peyton have an interesting guest on, giving them some commentary.
Condoleezza Rice. Sound like a Spanish dish, but yes. But yes,
I don't know how. I wonder how they picked her.
Apparently she is a huge football fan.
Wow.
She's a huge NFLer. They just showed her with a Browns jersey on, which is
okay.
Wow, it's I don't know why you want to do that to yourself, but all right, cool. All right.
Yeah.
I'm a Browns fan. Cool.
Hilarious. Yeah. Yeah. So Brady's got a couple touchdown passes, one to Godwin, one to Evans. Gronk is back. He's already got 6 catches for 71 yards. Brady's almost thrown for 300. and we still got more a little less than 5 minutes left in the third. Leonard Fournette's doing well, and Ronald Jones is getting some action. Fournette has already got 6 catches and 9 carries. So yeah, they're utilizing all their weapons, and yeah, it'll be nice for Tampa Bay to blow out a team. It looks like they probably will get a lot of their guys on track and get that offensive explosion going.
Yeah. I guess the only question is, well, how many yards does Brady finish with tonight? Yeah. I'm thinking 400.
Yeah.
He still has another quarter.
Whole quarter to go.
Yeah. Got a whole quarter to go. I'm probably gonna finish 400.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, they've got so many weapons so deep there. It's incredible, and yeah, they've had some hiccups and some stumbles, like pretty much every team in this whole entire league. It's been one of the weirdest NFL seasons. Nobody seems to really want to take the forefront and say, hey, we're the team to beat. Every time you think, oh, this is the next team, they get beat. They have a stumble. We had some more upsets this weekend. It's been crazy lately.
Yeah, it has been. It's been crazy. Like, it's been just a very, very different season. And maybe it's because of the fact of, well, not maybe, it is because of the fact that there's a pandemic and COVID takes out players every week.
Yeah.
And also, too, this is the longest schedule we've ever had for NFL football.
Right.
So there's going to be more injuries, too, as well. So, yeah, all of that plays into it.
Looking at the playoff picture, we're going to take a little bit of a change today. We're not going to go through every individual game and break them down. We're just going to kind of go over the highlights. Some of the teams, some of the most incredible performances on the weekend. I think we should start. Why don't we look at the NFC playoff picture a little bit? We usually start in the West. Let's talk about the Cardinals. They sit at 9-2, best record in football. Since Kyler Murray's went down, Colt McCoy's come in and played really, really well. He's got weapons that he utilizes, and I don't think anybody expected that they really wouldn't miss much of a beat when he took over.
Well, of course not, because Murray has been playing at an MVP level so far this year. So you think there would be a significant drop-off if he goes out.
Yeah.
But, McCoy's managed to keep the ship afloat, so to speak, and is doing enough to win games. But, luckily, the schedule has been pretty good for him against some of the teams that he's been facing. For instance, the Seahawks. Not very good this year. That simply said, not very good this year. I noticed that in the game, McCoy did a lot of checkdowns, a lot of 5-yard passes that turned into 8 or 9-yard runs after the catch and stuff. And the Seahawks defense had no answers for that.
No.
At all. None. No answers.
And the thing that blows me away is the Seahawks see that on the other side of the ball. Why don't they do the same thing on their side of the ball? Like they're getting Russell Wilson to run around, throw, occasionally to Tyler and DK, but taking so much abuse, he should have that ball out of his hand within 2 seconds. Little quick dump to some of the running backs, some of the slot receivers, even get it to DK or Tyler and get him in some space. The play calling has been horrible for the Seahawks this year.
Yeah, it hasn't been good. And also, too, like, they're not turning over the ball.
No.
They're just not doing anything with the ball.
No.
They're just not doing anything with it, right?
Ridiculous.
Like, you're just like something needs to happen with the play calling, clearly, but nothing is happening. So,
the cruel world of sports is rearing its ugly head, and people are saying, got to get rid of Pete Carroll, got to get rid of Russ now. We got to just clean house and stuff. They've won. They've had a winning record for 10 years, and they have this year that they're going down, and that's it. Blow it all up. Is it time to do this? Really?
I don't know. Maybe because it has been so long in the Pete Carroll era.
Yep.
Maybe it is time. Maybe the locker room needs a new fresh voice, so to speak.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I just don't think they have the personnel nor the talent to compete at a high level right now.
Yeah.
It seems that they're lacking in both of those things.
Well, I mean, it would be hard for me to say there's too much better receivers than DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. So you got those two guys. Those are massive weapons. For some reason, they only threw the ball. Well, they only caught 4 passes each. Why is that? Why aren't they giving them 12 to 15 targets each? Like, why aren't those guys getting the ball almost every second play? Why don't they just keep alternating, throwing to him? You throw to DK Metcalf against most of those corners, most of those safeties, he's got a physical size advantage over almost every guy in the secondary out of any team they play.
Yeah, because you seen that guy? He's a monster. He's freaking huge. And yes, you think that, like you get him in some short passing routes or whatever, get him in space and get him the ball. They get him the ball, man.
Yeah.
But they're just not doing that.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they're doing. I don't understand it. I don't understand their offensive philosophy for the Seahawks football team. I do not get it.
It's so bizarre. Yeah. I know they're missing Chris Carson, and that has been a huge blow. He's out for the season now. But DeAndre Hopkins is not with the Cardinals, and he's the one of the best receivers in the game, and they're still making up for it. They're still figuring out a game plan. They're not getting Kyler Murray sacked and hit as much as Russell Wilson is. They're getting the ball out of his hand quick and making plays. It's a great game plan these days. Don't let your quarterback get hit. Get the ball to your guys that are gonna run and go for it. And they're 9-2. Like, they're having a phenomenal year.
Yeah, and also too, they're making moves to make their team better by getting Zach Ertz, who had 8 receptions, 2 touchdowns, and almost 90 yards. Like they're doing things to make their team better. The Seahawks do nothing. So I don't know. I don't know.
James Conner's been an amazing pickup, 13 touchdowns, an incredible pickup from the Steelers. Most people were like, oh, what are they doing? And, how much has he contributed and helped this year? He's been phenomenal.
Yeah, he has been phenomenal for the backfield for the Cardinals. He's been running the heck out of the ball, and we do okay. So he had like 62 yards, but who do we have? Give me a sec. Collins for 36 yards. Sweet.
Yeah.
It's great.
Not working out. Yeah. It's the last year. It's unfortunate. We're here in the Pacific Northwest, and most people around here definitely at least cheer for the Seahawks. It's nice to have a team locally that does pretty well, but this is definitely the worst year we've seen in decade. And I don't know if there's help around the corner. I don't know what they have to do, but it's bad. We haven't seen this team this bad in a long time.
No, not in a long time. And I think ownership will just be like, well, something's got to change.
Yeah,
because this is bad. First time we've done a lot of things in 10 years. Like, first time we've ever laid a goose egg. First time for this. Like, there's a lot of firsts, and they're all negative, and that's not good.
That's
so
not good at all.
It's not good.
The game of Sunday turned out to be the Sunday nighter. We had the Chargers and the Steelers, and most people picked the Chargers to dominate this game, but Steelers really took a long time to get going, but they scored 27 points in that fourth quarter and made a hell of a game of it. It reminded me of the old Chargers with Dan Fouts and Eric Coryell and trying to outscore their defensive miscues and problems, but Herbert really played amazing, and they were able to get the big 41-37 win.
Yeah, man. Herbert definitely played amazing. Like, he was the reason why they won. I'm sorry. I got to go through these stats, because even as I look at these stats, I'm just like, this is freaking amazing. 30-41, 382 yards, 3 touchdowns, 9 attempts running for 90 yards.
Yeah.
He almost had 100 yards rushing as well.
Yeah.
He did everything that you could have ever asked from him. Everything.
Yeah. I'm amazed at his athletic ability and running ability. 10 yards average a carry. That was his career high in yardage. They should have given him the ball another 5 to 10 times to run it. If he's getting 10 yards a carry, you're getting a first down every time he touches the ball. Why wouldn't you just keep running him?
Yeah, exactly. But the one thing I loved about Herbert was he was picking his spots.
Yeah.
And he picked them well all the time.
Yeah.
Where he saw the defensive coverage drop back and he saw his open lanes, he took them, man. And he gashed that defense. So now the defense is on its heels thinking, oh, okay, what's he doing back there? Is he gonna run? Is he gonna pass the ball? Like, yeah, when you have the defense on its heels the way that he did, you pretty much have them at your mercy.
Yeah.
You really do.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, on the other side of the ball, Roethlisberger was pretty much doing the same thing.
Yeah.
His was just obviously dominantly through the air, primarily through the air, but Big Ben was showing that he's not used up yet.
True.
Still got a little bit of gunslinger in him.
Yeah, very true. Yeah. The other guy that had a huge game was Austin Eckler, 4 touchdowns, amazing performance. Only Charger to ever get 2 touchdowns on the ground and through the air in the same game. He's one of those guys that you just love in that backfield. We were talking about it with the Cardinals, getting your running back out, get him the ball and get him going. And holy cow, what an amazing performance getting 4 TDs.
Yeah, man. Austin Eckler. And we were talking about this before, just how the Chargers utilize him in their offense. They don't try to kill him by running him 30 times a game. All right. They don't do that. They mix and match. So they make sure he has almost like an even number of runs and an even number of attempts at catching the football.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that gives longevity to your running back for sure,
Yeah.
instead of always going through the hole and just getting smashed by those big old defensive linemen.
Yeah, well, I was telling you earlier, like, I'm so mad at the Titans for killing Derrick Henry. Like, they didn't need to have him running 25, 30 attempts a game. You're going to finally wear a guy down if he's constantly being hit, even though he's a huge guy. When you're taking on linemen, you're taking on linebackers constantly coming and hitting you from every side. Eventually, you're going to break down, no matter how big and incredibly athletic you are.
Yeah, because we've seen it with a certain somebody in this game for the Bucks, Gronkowski.
Yeah.
He stepped away from the game until his body got better. All right.
Yeah.
So, and that guy is huge. He's a massive human being.
I know. Amazing. Okay, well, Eckler got 4 touchdowns and had an amazing game, but the guy who had the game of the day was Jonathan Taylor. 5 touchdown game. He joined some really elite company there, and but he's a guy, 32 carries. I don't want my running back. If I'm a fan, I don't want my running back running 32 times in a game, because there's trouble there. The Colts are in massive trouble if they lose him, because he's their offense. Great game, put it up there as one of the classic games in history, but I do worry that he's going to break down if they keep using him the same way.
Yeah, like, because he ran the ball 32 times, man. But it's kind of the risk and reward thing, where the guy is feeling it. Right. So do you just keep feeding him the ball, or do you wean him off a little bit, right? Because that's the way that he got 5 touchdowns. Yeah, is that they just said, keep taking the ball, because we don't really need to do anything else. Apparently, they can't stop you. Yeah. But at the end of the day, though, you are right. Like, I think you have to be very judicious in how you go about doing this. Like, how you keep feeding your man. Yes, he is unstoppable right now, but at the same time, it's like, well, maybe a couple more passes out to the flat so he's out in space, so he can only be tackled by smaller linebackers.
I would have loved it to see him getting out of bed in the morning, how bad his body hurt.
Oh, dude. I've heard about ex-football players and about how they, what it happens to their body after the game or after a game like that. It's like, it takes a while.
Yeah.
It takes a while.
Yeah. I mean, he touched the ball 35 times yesterday. He got hit 35 times. He's gonna be in pain all week for sure. There's no way he's not.
Of course not. Yeah, of course he's going to be in pain. But that was the other weird thing with Derrick Henry for the Titans. He usually said, this is the most weirdest Wolverine thing. He usually felt better by Wednesday.
Yeah.
And you're just like, hey, it's only like a couple of days. Like, really? Wednesday?
Yeah.
And a guy like that still gets hurt. So, and he clearly has very, very excessive recuperative skills.
Yeah.
Yeah, recuperative abilities. So, risk and reward. You have to weigh them both. But if you want that guy to, last a couple more years, well, you might have to tone it down how many carries he's having in a game.
Okay. In that game, Colts beat the Bills 41-15. What's wrong with the Bills? They lost to the Jags. Was it the Texans? They lost to the Texans a couple weeks ago. Now they've lost here to the Colts. They sit 6-4, and now the Patriots are first in the East again. Like, what the hell? Like, I thought the Bills were gonna run away with this division, and they're suddenly seeing themselves in second place, looking up at the Patriots that they have looked up towards for the last 20 years. Crazy. What has happened to the Bills?
Right now, the Bills should actually be 8-2. They should be. And they're just, they're not. And it's almost as if the offense is falling off a cliff.
Yeah.
They can't score anymore. And I don't really know what that's attributed to. I don't know what's wrong. Like, everything was fine, and then all of a sudden it's not. Like what changed? What happened? I know they played the Jets the week, I think it was last week.
Yeah.
But it's the Jets. Big deal. It doesn't actually mean that much.
No.
But then the week before, they lost to the Texans. You can't do that. What's wrong with you?
Crazy.
How?
Yeah, it's weird. I'm shocked. I thought the Bills were one of the class teams in their conference. They sit at 6-4 now. They're sitting in the 7th position, the last wild card spot, and many teams chasing them with one less loss, one less win. It's nuts. I don't know what's wrong with them, and hopefully they can get it figured out. They actually are honestly Canada's team. They're so close to Toronto. You would not believe how many Canadians flood across the border and go to the Bills games when they have home games. I saw Josh Allen do like a little social media post where he's like, welcome back, Canadian fans. He was wearing a Canadian tuxedo. He was drinking beer. He was, trying to really cater to the Canadians coming back. And honestly, almost all Ontario football fans, NFL fans, are fans of the Bills. And it's tough when they're not doing well.
Yeah, it is tough. It is. It's super tough when they're not doing well. Like it sucks because, they have so many fans over on this side of the border. And let's be honest, we've gone through a lot of heartache. Like, if you're a Bills fan, back in the day with Jim Kelly, 4 appearances, goose egg, sucks big time.
Yeah.
Right? And so now you're thinking with this new cat, Allen, finally, finally there's hope. There's
Yeah.
light at the end of the tunnel. Like we got this. Like, look at this year. It's gonna be great. And then all of a sudden it's like, what's happening to our team?
Yeah.
What just happened, man?
Super
Everything was
strange.
good, and then all of a sudden it's not good anymore. Like,
No.
it's just not. I had them as one of the best teams at one point in the NFL. Like they were in my top 3. I don't think I can say that anymore.
Wow.
I don't think I can say that at all anymore.
Okay, so we mentioned the Bills not doing well, lost to the Texans. Who got beat by the Texans this week? Can you believe the Texans pulled off another win? Beat the Titans, top team in the AFC with record-wise, 8-3, still top of their division. But what happened? Ryan Tannehill had the worst game he's had as a pro, and I guess that just sunk him.
Texans D stepped up big time. Desmond King, 2 interceptions of the 4 that Tannehill threw.
Yep.
So here's the deal. If you're an NFL team, no matter how good you are, you give the ball away 4 times, you're going to make it damn near impossible to win a game.
Yeah.
And that's what Tannehill did.
Yeah.
He made it pretty impossible for them to win that game. But I do want to just point out something. AP, Adrian Peterson, 9 attempts, 40 yards.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Starting to
Not
get
bad.
up there. Yeah.
Not
Needs
bad.
the ball a bit more though. Yeah, he's at least broken that 21-yard streak he had 2 weeks in a row, doubled it pretty much. So, but yeah, I mean, they're sure changing their game plan now. They had Derrick Henry handling the ball 30 times. Now Tannehill throws 52 balls. Pretty crazy that they're not still trying to utilize some running game, but yeah, threw it all on Tannehill's back, and he just didn't come up with a good performance. They also had a fumble, so 5 turnovers. I'd love to pull up the record real quick and see what the record is. If a team has 5 turnovers, it's probably like 3 wins and 300 losses. You're probably not winning a game when you have 5 turnovers.
No, man, you just keep continually shooting yourself in the foot. So how are you going to win that game if you just keep saying, take the ball again, take the ball? No, man, you can't win a game like that. You just cannot win a game like that. And the Texans were just given a gift. It's like, oh, we probably shouldn't have won this game, but we can win it if you just keep giving us the ball. So thanks.
The game of the day was supposed to be KC and Dallas. Didn't deliver. A 19-9 score. Lots of hype, but it really didn't deliver.
Defensive battle. Always a fun game to watch. Yeah, sweet.
Yeah. I never have liked defensive battles. And probably most people don't. I'm an offensive guy all the way.
I like a little bit of offense. Like, like it could have used with a couple more touchdowns as opposed to, hold on a second, 3. No, well, I don't even know.
Actually, 2. No, there was 2.
Sorry. Cowboys just scored field goals.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, rough game for the Cowboys. They come in one of the top-ranked offenses, firing on a lot of cylinders, looking good. 7-2 record coming in. You think, wow, it's a battle of the Titans here. And no, they really laid an egg. Chiefs didn't really light the world on fire, but did enough to win.
Yeah, they did enough to win, and the Chief defense looked much improved. Yeah. Stepped up big, and Chris Jones had 3.5 sacks, and their defense actually, first time probably in a long time, helped carry the Chiefs to this win.
Yeah. They had a really terrible start to their year, but they started really getting solid and playing well, and that was a big win for them over Dallas. I'm not sure what was wrong with the Cowboys. I guess defense that just couldn't do it. I mentioned Patriots. Can you believe they're back in first place with a rookie quarterback. They had a 25-0 shutout on Thursday over Atlanta. And man, like, how are they doing this? How does Belichick be able to get this much out of a rookie quarterback when none of the other quarterbacks in the league have been able to really even win?
Because he's Bill Belichick. That's why.
Okay.
He's Bill Belichick. Yeah. Well, you know what? He's showing the fact that it's like I know how to scheme. I know how to play against teams, and hopefully, if my team is prepared and they listen to me, we can win.
Yeah.
You know, it's like literally, he's like, I can always give our team a shot to win, as long as they execute the game plan the way that I've drawn it up.
Yeah.
And it's true. The proof is in the pudding. Now, that would he be better with Brady there? Probably, but he's not there anymore. So, and the Falcons are bad. They're bad.
They're bad. Yeah, they're really bad, but still, well, super impressive. Back to first place in the division, 7-4, sitting in third place in the conference in the playoff seeding, and crazy. There was so much talk when there was finally a split between Brady and Belichick, and Brady went and won that Super Bowl, and Belichick struggled a bit with Cam Newton and that new team, and everybody was like, well, this is all Brady that won all those titles and stuff. And, you know, I'm sure Belichick was a little mad with that assumption and the way people were going. But yeah, I mean, everybody's always called him a genius. He got to take a bit of a hit last year, but he's proving again that he's really able to get the most out of whatever team he can put on the field. Yes,
he's proving it again, because Mac Jones is literally, as you said before, the only rookie quarterback doing something positive this year.
Yeah,
he's the only guy, and that's again attributed to Bill Belichick's genius.
Yeah, I totally agree. The other great game on the weekend was the Packers game. They played the Vikings, and it turned out to be a heck of a shootout. I think most people had their money on Green Bay winning, but Kirk Cousins and the Vikings utilized Jefferson, especially. He had a phenomenal game, a couple touchdowns, and they were able to beat the Packers in a bit of an upset.
Yeah. The funny thing about the Vikings is you don't know which team is going to show up.
Yeah.
You just kind of don't know. But for this particular game, the best version showed up.
Yeah.
And also, too, they played it perfect at the end of the game. They didn't allow Rodgers to get back on the field.
Yeah.
They didn't give him a shot. Like, they ran out the clock. They got their field goal kicker out there, nailed the field goal. No time left.
Yeah.
Won the game.
That was great. Yeah. That was the way to do it. Look at Cousins' numbers. 341 yards, 3 touchdowns. Jefferson, 8 catches, 169 yards, and a couple touchdowns. Dalvin Cook back and looking healthy. He was, great himself, got a touchdown. Adam Thielen's in there with a TD and 8 catches. Yeah, they've got tons of weapons there. They've struggled a little bit on defense here and there, but they still, even though Stephon Diggs went to Buffalo, they still got a great amount of weapons there. And when they're all in, they're tough to beat.
They are tough to beat, and they've had. Let's be honest, they've had some really tough losses too. Like this team could easily be 7-3 or 8-2.
Yeah,
if they win those close games, but they haven't. So that's why they're in the middle of the pack right now. But
as I mentioned last week, the only team that's had at least a 7-point lead in every single game, and they did this game as well. Aaron Rodgers had phenomenal numbers. You can't blame the loss on him.
No, you can blame a lot of stuff on Aaron Rodgers, but just not this loss. not this particular loss right now.
We could blame everybody getting COVID on him, maybe, but not this loss for sure.
No, not this loss for sure. He threw for 4 touchdowns, man. Like he had a great game. He had a great game, and Devontae Adams, his guy, had 2 touchdowns. Had over 100 yards receiving. So the guys that needed to step up did, but I just love the fact that the Vikings played the end of the game perfect. They didn't allow them to get back on the field to beat them.
And Marquez Valdez-Scantling, also 100 yards, two receivers with over 100 yards. You're going to usually do quite well. They're missing Aaron Jones. That's a big loss, but I don't think it's anything super serious with him. Should be back soon. Josiah DeGuara got his first touchdown of his career. Pretty cool to see a guy. I think this is his second or third year. It might be second year. Finally got his first TD in the NFL. Great accomplishment.
Yeah, awesome to see a guy finally get his first touchdown, and must be like, yes, I got one now. Let's get more than a couple. Let's get a bushel full of touchdowns now.
Yeah. The only other guy I really want to mention before we start moving on is Jalen Hurts. Another phenomenal game. 3 touchdowns from him, and he's just lighting it up week after week and looking super impressive.
And he does it in just a kind of a different way.
Yeah.
I've noticed, it's 3 touchdowns all on the ground himself. Yeah. Like he didn't pass the ball because he's just like, you know what? Just do it myself. I got it.
Okay, yeah, and the Saints actually have a good defense this year. Really have been good, and he was able to exploit them and get 3 touchdowns himself on the ground. Pretty impressive.
Oh yeah, it was super impressive. I really like watching this guy play. Yeah. I think he's one of the most exciting players in the NFL right now. And Philly did the right thing by investing in him.
Yeah.
And as I've said before, which I will say again, now they just need to give him weapons.
Yeah.
I think he could be super dangerous if you give him the support that he needs on offense. You give him those things, man. Because he's doing this already with very limited amount of weapons.
Yeah.
Think of what you could do if he had weapons like Tom Brady. Okay, he's not probably going to ever get that, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Sure. Yeah. Okay, so 30-10 Bucks are up. Definitely rolling towards another big victory. Are the 2 teams to beat still Tampa Bay and Kansas City? Would you say other teams have emerged to be the team to beat, or are those 2 sort of destined for the Super Bowl again?
Okay, I'll say this. I'll say Tampa Bay for sure. Right up there. You could say there's a couple other teams that could be right up there with Tampa Bay, though. Cardinals.
Okay.
Rams. Right?
Yeah.
And then, but with Kansas City, don't know if I can trust them. They haven't shown me enough. And especially going down the stretch. They need to be more consistent with how they're going about things. Yeah, they're kind of climbing out of it right now. They're figuring it out clearly on offense and possibly on defense too as well. But there's a lot of other good teams as well, just kind of lurking in behind. Titans are there. I don't know how much they're there, but they're there too as well. But as you were saying before, like losing Derrick Henry is just a huge blow. They would have been. I would have put them number 1 as their front runner if Derrick Henry was still in.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so we've got you said the Titans. You talked about the Chiefs. We've got the Patriots leading their division. We got Baltimore leading. The other wild card teams right now are the Chargers, Bengals, and the Bills. Who do you think who's the front runner kind of right now? If the playoffs started tomorrow, you had to put your house on the line, you're a betting man, who are you putting money on to come out of the AFC?
Man. This is an awful question. Awful. It's an awful question, man.
Shit.
You know what? Okay, I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. I'm gonna go with the Chiefs.
All right.
Because They've done it before. I've always thought that whatever Mahomes is going through, he'll eventually figure it out, which I think he's in the midst of doing, like right now.
Yeah.
I want to say I think the next couple of weeks will really determine if they will be the front runner going into the playoffs.
Sure.
If they can go on a little run here, maybe win the next 2 to 3 games, definitely the front runner.
Okay.
That's
Awesome.
what I'll say.
Just want to touch on NFC. You mentioned the Cardinals and the Bucks. What about the Packers and the Cowboys, who are both division leaders right now? Do you see those two teams figuring it out and getting to the playoffs, looking better than they're currently doing?
I put more faith in the Packers than the Cowboys right now.
Okay.
I put more faith in them because at least with the Packers, at least with them, you got a former MVP in Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
All right. And you can always kind of depend on him because he's always like, relax. I've got it. It's going to be fine.
Yeah.
And every time he's done that, he's actually has got it.
Yeah.
And it is fun. So
MVP last year, just last year. That's it. Yeah. So yeah,
man. So
good thinking.
Yeah. So I would put more emphasis on the Packers than on the Cowboys at this point in time because there's been a couple of things that the Cowboys have done where I'm just like, ugh, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good.
That's true. Yeah, it's pretty bizarre. The only thing that I'll mention is the Packers lost their offensive lineman, Elgin Jenkins, today, torn ACL, offensive lineman that protects Rodgers, and he's out. So another blow for them. Bakhtiari is supposed to be coming back in the next couple weeks, but still out. So that's a blow when you have a big offensive lineman protecting Aaron Rodgers, the biggest weapon they have, out for the season. That was a tough blow. Yeah,
that is a tough blow. Hopefully whoever replaces him can do a somewhat good job. Like hopefully Aaron Rodgers is like, oh, running for my life. Oh, this sucks. Like that would be horrible. So hopefully the stand-in for that can do a somewhat good job on that. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
I see. Oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was just going to probably say the same thing as you. Looks like Brady's out, and then now they're just showing pictures of him hanging out at the Kentucky Derby. It's pretty funny.
That's hilarious. Yeah. Might as well not run any risk of injury with him. He's I mean, he's kind of your franchise and the guy that's going to take you to the promised land again, right?
Yeah, he is. So it's just like, hey, okay, I think he's good, and I think the coach has said, pretty sure we're gonna win. It's 30-10. What do you think, Tom? I'm gonna take a seat. I know Tom Brady's like, I gotta pass for 500 yards. What do you think? It's like, okay, you're definitely taking a seat though. No.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah. What'd you think of Cam Newton getting to get a chance to play against his former head coach in Ron Rivera and looking like he had a lot of fun out there? He ran to the middle of the field, spiked the football down, did the Superman pose. He's looks like he's having an absolute blast being back.
Well, yeah, because he probably thought he was never going to play in the league again. Like, let's be honest here. He's getting NFL money again. That's something to celebrate. I'd be dancing in the streets too, man. Yeah. So, yeah, like he's enjoying life as he should. Didn't win the game, by the way.
No,
probably should have focused on that. But he's happy to be back and playing, and he's doing well. Like, looking at his numbers, you can't blame the loss on him, like, at all.
Yeah.
Like, he threw for 2 touchdowns, almost 200 yards. And ran for almost 50. We haven't seen this version of Cam for a while, but the man of the hour for the Panthers is obviously McCaffrey.
Yeah.
I love watching that dude play.
Right.
Like, he does it all. He is literally like Eckler.
Yeah.
Does an equal amount of attempts running and an equal amount of passing as well.
Yeah.
I was telling you before, he did this one play in that game where it looked like he got tackled, like he got hit hard.
Yeah.
And he just flew in the air, glided, put his head down, hand in a foot, and no knees touched, and he still kept running. Like, it was one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. I'm like, I don't know how you did that.
Amazing. Amazing. Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah. We should have found it today and put it up for our viewers. Would have been cool. Yeah, he is an amazing athlete, and it's incredible some of the things that I've seen him do over the year.
Yeah, man, he's just such a pleasure to watch. Where you just watch the guy do stuff that you go, I don't understand how you did that. I can't fathom it. Like, you're clearly better than everybody else.
Yeah. There was a couple signings today. The biggest one was Courtland Sutton to the Denver Broncos, re-upped after his rookie deal. He got a 4-year deal worth $60.8 million, $34.9 million guaranteed. And they just signed Tim Patrick about 4 days ago. Big deal as well. They've really got a lot of really top end receivers now, and they just got to make sure they got the right quarterback and getting this together. But big deal for Courtland Sutton.
No, huge deal, and glad that he got the bag that he was looking for. I've noticed, anyways, that for these bigger deals, that the agents are getting a heck of a lot more savvier and making sure that they get their guaranteed money.
Yeah,
that guaranteed money is beginning to creep up a lot more than what it ever used to.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. And luckily, yeah, because it's brutal if a guy signs, something in that neighborhood and he only collects a small portion of it. It's pretty unfair aspect of football and really tough on a guy. Imagine, holy cow, I'm set for my life. And then, 6 months, a year later, boom, you're out of the league and never play a game.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's how brutal the game is. That's how brutal the sport is. So, yes, the agent's job is to make sure that he can get as much of that guaranteed money out of the contract that he can, so that the player can take care of himself, his family, and anything else going forward.
Yeah. As I mentioned off the top, there's a great week with the Thanksgiving Day Thursday games. We've got 3 games on tap. Early one, not that compelling with the Bears and Lions, but Raiders and Cowboys, 1:30 Pacific time, 4:30 Eastern. And then the Bills and Saints, the late game starts at 5:20. I hate working on that day. So far I am. But hopefully we can pull it up on our phones and watch a bit together and enjoy some. Yeah, maybe we'll find some turkey somewhere and at least have a good Thanksgiving football day.
That all sounds really good. I have a feeling, though, that our boss is going to track us down at some point. Like, hey, what you guys doing? You guys eat turkey? I don't even know where you got that turkey from. Watch football. That's cool, but I'm going to need you to do some work.
Yeah. We'll have to maybe try to find a turducken like old John Madden did and all the leagues, and we'll just be munching on legs and passing them out to everybody. Maybe we can somehow do a deep fried turkey or something awesome.
Okay. Have you ever had a turducken?
Yes.
Have you ever had it? I have never had a turducken.
Oh,
no.
Man.
And how good is that?
So it's good, like incredible. Oh, juicy and tasty and wow. Mind blowing.
Is it? So it's a duck and a turkey, right?
I think it's a chicken inside a duck inside a turkey.
It's turkey.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's unreal. So good.
That's a beautiful amount of meat. We had this conversation with one of our coworkers. He's a vegetarian, and he's telling us if you guys want to do your part for global warming, and I might stop right there. Stop it. You don't understand the sample. It was beautiful. Like I cried. That's how good the sample.
I'm still crying over it, man. It was the phenomenal meat feast. Like I didn't get the meat sweats, which I have at other meat feasts, but holy cow, that was great. One guy said, the one guy that recommended said he felt like he was cheating on his wife as he was eating it.
Yes, he felt like he was cheating on his wife as he was eating that. And hilarious. I thought, he might be over exaggerating. And then I tasted it. He was not. That's how good it was.
Yeah.
It was
be very hard for you and me to become vegetarians. I can't see me being as happy, because really good food makes me really quite happy.
Yeah, no, I can't see it ever happen. Like I literally can't. I can't see myself ever embracing the fact that, lettuce, just eating bushels of lettuce. No, man, I can't do.
Yeah.
Eat my meat. Eat it.
Yeah. Okay, let's end this by just looking ahead to a couple games next week that this seem awesome. Looking forward to the Titans, Patriots, Rams, Packers, Chargers, Broncos, Colts, Bucks, Niners, Vikings. I mean, Steelers, Bengals will probably be fun. Bills, Saints, like I mentioned on Thursday. A lot of good matchups. I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, it's great matchups. Should be another great weekend of football. I look forward to it. And I look forward to the weird upsets, because that they seem to be just coming all the time now. All the time.
All the time, exactly. Yeah. Okay, we had a UFC card this past weekend. USC Fight Night 198, Vegas 43 cards they've had there. Unfortunately, I think it was the worst card in the history of the sport. The worst. There was 0 KOs. There was 1 submission, decision after decision after decision after decision. Main event, pretty boring. Quite a beat down. Co-main event, probably the fight of the night, but brutal card. Like, wow. I think it's the worst card that's ever been in the history of the organization.
Okay. I agree, because as I'm watching this card, I thought to myself, if it continues the way it has in the prelims, this is going to be a tough slog. Like, it was tough sledding actually getting through this particular UFC.
Yeah.
But I'm watching it because how about this? This UFC was the complete opposite of the UFC the previous weekend. Yeah. The complete opposite.
Yeah.
That was unexpected awesomeness.
Eight KOs last week. 8 KOs. Yes. And here we get none. We get 0. None. All 0. Decisions, 1 submission. Oh my God. Like, you can't entice me with these cards. I looked at it and I thought, but we've done this a lot. And I've said, this isn't one of those top-notch cards. It's a fight night, and the main event might not be great, Cole, but we've always pointed to a few fights on the card that we thought, wow. And I looked at this one and I thought, I don't know. I'm not sure if this one's going to really be very good. And it was absolutely bad. It was really tough to get through it and just be excited. And I'm not a negative guy. I can usually find a positive in every card and see some really great action, but this was a dog.
Yeah, this was kind of my face throughout the whole UFC. Really? All right. Hopefully the next fight's better.
Yeah.
Man. All right. It just some UFC cards are like that.
And unfortunately, this one was like that.
Do you want to talk about the worst cards in history at this moment, or do we talk about the card a little bit and then go to the worst cards in history? What should we do?
No. We'll talk about the worst cards in history.
Okay.
And then we'll talk about this card.
Okay. Well, there's a few that happened off the early stages of the UFC because they hadn't put rules in and they had crazy guys going in fighting other guys, and it was really weird matchmaking. They had guys fighting 4 fights a night, and there was a lot of that. But once they finally sanctioned it and they went on pay-per-view, a lot of us diehard fans right from the start were super excited. Well, the very first fight that was ever sanctioned, that was ever put on pay-per-view from the Nevada State Athletic Commission was UFC 33. And it was brutal. It was terrible. It goes down as the worst card in history. Dana White has said it numerous times. All the people that were there, all the people that talk about the UFC and the worst card, UFC 33. I want to go through it a bit. It really had so many elements that you thought, wow, this is going to be a hell of a card. And it was dog meat. It was horrific. It was something that really set the UFC back. Actually, probably cost the Fertitta brothers a ton of dough because it was so bad that people just didn't really want to give them another chance at it. And it took a long time for them to get over the stink of this event. Let me tell you some details and aspects of it. And maybe you can pull it up, UFC 33, somewhere on your computer, and we'll go through it a little bit. Okay, so there was 3 title fights on the card, which to me would be like really exciting because we've seen 3 title fights happen recently, and it's like, oh man, wow, they're really stalking it. It really didn't turn out well. They had Tito Ortiz against the janitor. Vladimir Matyshenko was the main event. It was supposed to be Vitor Belfort, but he got hurt. And that was for the light heavyweight title. Second title fight was Dave Mene and Gil Castillo for the new middleweight title. They didn't have a middleweight division, supposedly. And then Jens Pulver against Dennis Hallman, which was the lightweight title. That fight, the Jens Pulver fight and the Tito fight, have been judged as the most uneventful 5-round title fights in the history of the sport. And they had 2 on the same card. 25 minutes of boring, absolutely brutal fighting that just made you want to go to sleep. The pay-per-view actually stopped about halfway through the title fight between Tito and Matyashenko, and people just got cut off. And it didn't matter because nothing else happened in the rest of the fight, but people were really mad, demanding their money back, saying, what the hell's going on here? How can you cut me off when I pay you to see the entire event and you're cutting me off? It was brutal. All the fights went to decision on the main card. It was just unreal. And lots of things in the UFC changed after this event. Do you remember this at all? Do you remember watching it at any point, Jason?
I kind of do.
Okay.
But I think I've kind of erased it from my psyche, I think.
Okay.
Like, as I kind of remember, because I've seen them all, and I kind of remember this one, and I kind of remember thinking to myself, I think the only thing that stood out to me in this whole UFC card was the fact that, didn't Dennis Hallman wear a banana hammock for one of his fights?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Didn't he do that? Right?
Yeah.
Okay, I guess he's good enough to fight for the belt. This is awful. And that was it. That was it. That was my only takeaway. That was my takeaway from this particular UFC.
That's hilarious. Yeah. Well, you look at the card and you see 3 title fights. Then the other fight that's on the main card has Matt Serra, eventually a champion, against Yves Edwards. You think, okay, wow, okay, that has potential. There's Dean Thomas is on this card. Dean Thomas is commentating on every UFC now. He's the guy that they go to as one of the coaches and say, give us some insight. Smart.
And he's
guy,
good.
great
He's really good. He's really good.
Ricardo Almeida, you're thinking, this card has a ton.
Yeah.
Every single solitary fight was televised, prelims and main card, on the pay-per-view. So the UFC decided they're going to reduce that, and they're only going to show the top 5 fights on most pay-per-views now. They decided they would do that, and that went from that was 2001, 8 years before they ever changed that. They had 8 years of cards where there was only 5 fights on the pay-per-view. And they didn't do another event with 3 title fights in over 15 years after that. 15 years it took them to finally take a chance at 3 title fights on the same card. It was just crazy bad. And I felt so bad because it seemed like this was going to be such a showcase. It's finally going to get out to the masses, finally going to get a lot of people interested in the sport. And it turned out horrible.
Yeah. And they laid a goose egg, and then they're just like, oh no. How about this? It was like the worst possible case scenario for them to have.
Yeah.
The worst, the absolute worst.
It was insane. It was absolutely insane. And I have no clue why it did that, but luckily the Fertitas bought it, put a ton of dough into it and kept it at it. Ultimate Fighter came around, and this sport is what, a $10 billion company now, and absolutely phenomenal entertainment for us every weekend. Okay, the other one that's competing for the worst card ever is UFC 149. This took place in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, Saturday, July 21st, 2012. The reason why this one was so bad was because injuries. So many, every single solitary fight on the card was affected by injuries. And it was just on and on and on and on. A lot of people said it was cursed. They couldn't believe how many problems this had. They had, let me see, we're going to start with a little bit of details. So, where do I got to start here? Oh, here we go. So the card was initially headlined by Jose Aldo and Eric Koch, but Aldo had to pull out due to an undisclosed injury. So the UFC moved the interim bantamweight title fight between Uriah Faber and Renan Barão from 148 to 149. Uriah Faber was super mad. He said it cost him millions of dollars. He was actually supposed to fight Dominic Cruz at 148, and that fell off. He ended up having to fight Renan Barão, and he said that he saved them a couple $1 million to do this change, and at least they had a bit of a headliner fight, but it cost him a couple $1 million because the pay-per-view numbers were so different between the fight there. So the main event was troubled. So many pullouts, so many guys got hurt. It just went on and on and on. Michael Bisping was supposed to fight Tim Boetsch. Bisping dropped off the card to an injury, replaced by Hector Lombard. Czech Congo was supposed to face Nogueira, but he had to back out to a arm injury. So Congo's next opponent became Sean Jordan. James Head was supposed to fight Claude Patrick, but he tore a ligament in training. Head faced Brian Ebersol. Yoshihiro Akami was supposed to fight Thiago Alves. Akami had to bow out with an injury. On and on and on and on. And it was just so bad because Calgary was the first UFC in Canada. They were finally coming across the border. They were finally going to allow some mixed martial arts events here. And it just turned out to be an absolute dud. It was so disappointing and so sad. Luckily, Dana White made up for it few years later because he said, yeah, it really was so sad for all those big fans in Alberta. But yeah, I couldn't believe it. Just seemed like every day we were hearing another pullout, another injury. This fight's been changed. That fight's been moved. That fight's no longer happening. It was just so brutal.
It was cursed.
Yeah.
It was like the cursed UFC. I do remember this one because I remember that there was changes made on how they conducted fights going forward, which was always having a backup plan, so to speak, on fighters that they know that they could sub into if said fighters went down with injuries.
Yeah.
I believe it was this particular UFC where they kind of changed their philosophy on what other plans do we have if these guys can't go.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. That did change things, and I'm glad it did because, yeah, I mean, and nobody wants to get super hyped and excited about their fighters, and all of a sudden, bam, 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 and for some reason, I don't think fighters were being as smart back then. They were training really way too hard right up to the fight day, and they were, getting injured, and it was an epidemic at the time.
Yeah, because the way that they train now, I think it takes time, experience, some history. And now that the way that these guys train is a lot smarter than what it was back then.
Yeah.
Because they've learned from their mistakes, and now they know exactly how they should train, how they should cut weight, how they should diet. All of these things have evolved over time.
Yeah.
But it took time for us to get to this point.
Yeah.
And so the mistakes made then benefited us. They benefit us now.
I tried to look for the details on what number this card was, but I couldn't find them yet today. Hopefully I'll find them in the coming days and I can let you guys know. But tell me if you know who was the inaugural women's flyweight champion. The title fight happened. The very first flyweight champion for women's mixed martial arts happened, and I couldn't even remember it. But then I remembered, oh my God, that was a horrible card. And it came back to me over the last few days.
Flyweight, huh? Can't remember. I don't know.
Her name is Nico Montano. You even remember?
Oh, yeah, I kind of do. But didn't they get rid of the flyweight division? Didn't they do that? Because I remember she won, and then all of a sudden they kind of abolished her freaking belt or something like that.
They did. They abolished her belt. Yeah, something about something happened because she missed a weight cut and they stripped her of her belt.
And I remember that. Yeah.
She fought Roxanne Modafferi, who just announced this weekend that she's
retiring.
She's retiring, about to embark on her last fight ever. And the other thing that Nico Montano is known for is her last fight in the UFC. Last fight to date was against Juliana Pena. And who is she fighting this weekend?
Oh, well, she's fighting Amanda Nunes, and she's probably going to get seriously injured. But yes.
Not this weekend, sorry, not this weekend.
No.
December 11th.
In December 11th.
So anyway, this card was a dog and it was brutal. I watched it because we do this, and I lost some hours of my life that I'll never get back. I've done a lot of more stupid shit than that, wasted hours of my life, but it just did feel painful to have to subject myself to this. And I sure hope the UFC takes notice and realizes that they really can't put on cards this bad and expect people to be happy about it.
No, yes. Yes, I'm going to agree with you on that. Yeah, like okay, so like even the main event with Vieira versus Tate. All right,
Yeah.
they 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 tried to make it good. Like
Yeah.
Tate was going forward, like
Mhm.
she's kind of doing her duck in and went in there, and then she get popped in the face like pretty hard actually. And before you know it, it's like, well, I think Vieira's clearly winning this fight because if you look at Tate's face, it's looking like smashed hamburger.
Yeah, it was pretty beat. It was bloodied and her eyes shut. And man, she just took so much abuse trying to get in on that reach.
Yeah,
But it was so predictable. It just happened over and over and
and
over. She
over and
just
over again.
went in, threw 2 punches, got 2 punches in the face, threw 2 punches, got 2 punches in the face. Like for the whole entire fight, it was like, I think you might want to change. Don't lead with your face and do something different here.
Yeah, like she needed a different approach, but I don't think she had a different approach.
No.
She just didn't have it within her a variety of skill set to try something different. She literally didn't have it. And so it was literally, we saw rinse and repeat the replay, round 1, round 2, round 3,
Yeah.
4.
I'm really happy that Miesha Tate's back. I like her. I like her as a mixed martial artist. I'm glad that she just decided she'd come out of retirement. She had a break for 1,709 days, which is a long, long time. It wasn't before this fight. She had 1 fight before this fight. But yeah, she's got to go back to the drawing board and really, just throw some different looks, attempt some takedowns, throw some different looks at the person. If you're doing the exact same thing, you just said, rinse and repeat, and you're taking that much abuse, broken nose, broken orbital bone, probably. It's going to take her a long time to recover from that. She's going to walk around and her husband is going to get the worst dirty looks anybody ever gets, like it's not going to be pretty. She is going to suffer her face, damage on her face for a long, long time. It's going to take a while for that face to heal.
Yeah, it most certainly is. And her husband is just going to be like, everybody's just going to be like, oh man, look at that. I feel real bad for her. And the husband's like, I didn't do it. I didn't do anything.
Yeah, fucking brutal. Yeah. Sean Brady came in, really hyped. And Michael Chiesa said, hey, I'm an old veteran. I know how to beat this young buck. And he's impressive, but I'm better and I can prove that. Well, he only tried to prove it in the 3rd round for some dumb reason. Brady's tough. He's an amazing fighter. I think he's got a bright future ahead, but Chiesa needed to wade into deep waters a little more and put that same effort he put on in the 3rd round in the 1st and the 2nd round. And he might've got a victory, but Brady had already got the 2 rounds, was able to get that 29-28 decision.
Yeah. And also too, I would say that Brady, I think Chiesa was shocked at Brady's grappling savvy and his strength.
Right.
I think that shocked him. I think that kind of threw whatever the heck his game plan was out the window, because he's just like, because like that's Chiesa's thing, is grappling.
Yeah.
And Brady out-grappled him for 2 rounds. Clearly out-grappled him.
Yeah.
So basically Chiesa waited for his opportunity for the man to be tired,
Right.
and then tried to take him out. He didn't have enough time.
Not enough
If
time.
this was a 5-round fight, Chiesa wins.
Right.
He wins, but not a 5-round fight, buddy.
Yeah.
3-round fight.
It was a disappointing effort and it was too bad.
Yeah.
The only fight on the card that didn't go to decision was Joanne Wood against Talia Santos. And Santos really showed, man, is she an incredible striker, was able to really dominate and put Calderwood down, or put Wood down now and get the submission win. But this was the only fight that didn't go to decision.
Yeah, it was. And Talia Santos was super impressive.
Yeah.
Took out a very game JoJo Wood. And I'm just going to say it. made it look kind of easy.
Yeah.
She made it look pretty easy, man. And JoJo Wood is one hell of a fighter. He's
Sure.
one hell of a fighter, man. So Santos is on the come up. Maybe if she continues on her upward trajectory, maybe she can actually give Shevchenko a challenge.
Yeah.
Or not, and she just gets destroyed. I don't know, but I gotta look forward to somebody maybe giving her a little bit of a push.
Yeah, no, I've that was one of the most impressive women's performances I've seen. She just looks super sharp, super crisp, very accurate with her strikes. Has a submission game, obviously, being able to win that way. And we're waiting for somebody to emerge to show that Nunes and Shevchenko are possibly able to be beat one of these years. But I think she needs a bit more fights to get into that elite company. But somebody that's definitely we should be looking out for in the coming years.
Yeah, she's definitely on the radar now.
Yeah.
She's on the radar, and she still needs to climb up the rankings, but hopefully she'll get to a point where she can challenge, and then we'll see what she's truly made of.
Yeah. I don't know how much we want to break this down. I do really want to just say congratulations to Lupita Goldenez again. 3 fights in 43 days, setting the all-time UFC record that was 77 days previous to that. So blowing that out of the water. 3 fights in a really quick succession, getting a decision win, being able to fight at her weight class compared to last time. Great to see a local girl doing so well and getting another victory.
Yeah, and she had to kind of go through some trials and tribulations with Lukbunmi, because she had excellent takedown defense. So what Goodness did was she chained together her takedowns. She went from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next, which kind of short circuit or overloaded Lukbunmi. And then she defend the first one, but not the second or the third move. Yeah. So Goodness worked through that and figured that out. And so I give her all the props in the world for figuring that out and how to take her to the mat so that she could win the fight. So props to her. The only other fight that I want to talk about is the Grant versus Yanez fight.
Nice.
Because that was a great fight.
Yeah.
Those two laid it on the line. Yeah. They came after each other. Super close fight. I thought right away that Yanez did enough to beat him, but Grant, super dangerous all the time, continued to throw with power every round. Yeah. And Yanez even said that he couldn't slip up with this guy because he had the power to knock him out or to hurt him severely. And I love the fact that Yanez, whenever he did take a hit, rolled with the punch. He's exceptionally good at rolling with strikes.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, phenomenal. David Grant's one tough customer, but that was a hell of a fight. There has been some controversy over Cody Durden. Some of the comments he made after have been ripped apart by some people. Did you think they were really that serious?
Poor choice of words. Yeah. I understood what he was trying to do. It's just that, in this day and age, you can't say that. Yeah. And I'm sure his coaches have said, let's refrain from talking about sending people back to their own countries. Let's not do that again. No. If we could.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So we're putting that to bed. Man, I can't believe that we had to subject ourselves to the worst card in UFC history. I can't wait to ask Dana White and some of those other guys to comment on it. But he'd always pointed to UFC 33 as the worst and 149 as one of the top worst. But this one, man, like to have to have decisions. One I didn't even see who got the 50K. Maybe he just didn't even pass them out this week. Like, did you see who got the bonuses?
Yeah, I think Santos got one.
Oh no.
And then maybe Grant and Yanez got one.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like, that's it. That's all all that deserves it. That's it.
Yeah.
Nobody else. Sorry.
Done. Okay,
Done.
we've got a break this coming Saturday. No UFC. I think you said 10 in a row. So we've got a break, and then we finish off the year with some really big cards, obviously waiting for that December 11th card, UFC 269. Super stacked. We're all going to get together and watch that. I think it's going to be an amazing card. There have been a couple of fall offs off it, but it's still stacked top to bottom.
Oh yeah. It is a stacked card. I am particularly very, very super excited about the Oliveira Poirier fight. How could I not be?
Yeah.
As I think it could be an immediate classic. Once those two men get in the ring, Poirier has been grinding to get to this point forever. Just almost, not probably as long as Oliveira, but it's pretty damn close.
Yeah.
All right. So we got two guys that have been grinding forever to get to this point. Oliveira now has the belt, and I'm pretty sure he does not want to give it away.
No.
And Poirier desperately wants it.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great fight. The co-main event with Nunes and Pena, I think we both agree.
Yeah.
Nunes. All right, moving on. I'm actually somewhat. No, not somewhat. I'm definitely looking forward to the Jeff Neal Ponzinibbio fight.
Yeah.
I think that could be a barn burner.
Kai Kara France, Cody Garbrandt. We got Sean O'Malley, Halion Paiva. We've got Josh Emmett, Dan Ige. I think that's great. 50K Dan Ige, love him. Dominic Cruz. Surprised that he's dropped down to the prelim fights, but Pedro Munoz, Dominic Cruz is going to be a barn burner. I mean, and then we've got like early prelims. We've got 6 fights on the early prelims too. So it's going to be a hell of a night of fighting, and can't wait.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm definitely looking forward to that, and seeing these fights with all you guys, man. It should be a great night of fights.
Okay, the UFC was early, so nobody would be not tuning in because there was a big fight in the world of boxing. We had Terrence Bud Crawford facing off against Sean Porter for the WBO middleweight championship, undisputed championship. One of the best fights I've seen in my lifetime. Really, really phenomenal. 10th round TKO. Terrence Howard still undefeated. 15th title fight, 9th straight fight with a KO win, 38-0 in his career, and many consider him the best pound for pound boxer on the planet. Canelo Alvarez and him are in that conversation, I guess. Who do you think deserves it right now?
Okay, I'm gonna actually add a third.
Okay.
Canelo, Bud Crawford, and Tyson Fury.
Nice.
All right.
Oh yeah. Sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna say those 3.
Great.
And you know what? And I'm gonna put in a dark horse, number 4. Usyk would be my number 4.
Cool.
Yeah. Lomachenko would have been there, but he got beat by Teofimo Lopez, so he fell off. It's 1A, 1B between Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, honestly.
Yeah.
I probably would give the edge to Crawford because he hasn't lost. And that's the only reason. Because even with Canelo's loss, he lost to the guy that has retired undefeated. So that's not a bad loss. You know what I mean?
No.
That's Floyd Mayweather. So whatever.
I hear you. Yeah. Amazing. We got the news today that we didn't hear until this afternoon. Sean Porter has decided to retire, make this his last fight. Were you surprised?
Well, after hearing the post-fight interview, what his old man had to say about his performance, not really. Not really.
Yeah.
Okay, because I understand that you have high standards for your son, but he lost to literally the best boxer on the goddamn planet.
Yeah.
All right? There's no shame in that.
No.
And you shamed him. What the hell are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Like you saw Porter's face where he's just like, really? Like, really? Really? Like, I didn't prep well enough. I didn't follow the game plan. That's what my dad said. Oh man, I was just like, I was kind of blown away by that. And so for him to say, yeah, maybe this is time for me to quit. Maybe it's time for me to hang him up. I wasn't surprised at that. I just wasn't. He's just like, yeah, I don't think I need to put up with that nonsense anymore.
Yeah, I was shocked that he said that because, man, he had a great performance, always has. What a great, gritty fighter, and no shame in losing to one of the best people on the planet. And I was shocked that his dad threw him under the bus like that and said, yeah, he didn't prepare well. Of course, he lost, and it was pretty brutal. Errol Spence was there in the crowd. He didn't make himself known to Terrence Crawford at all. The second that Crawford knocked Porter down for the second time, Spence and his boys got up, walked out of the arena. Do you think he's next?
It would make sense. Here's the thing. Does Errol want that fight? I don't know.
No.
I don't know, man, because the great thing about Bud Crawford, Terrence Crawford, is that the fact that he'll fight anybody because he ain't scared of no one.
Yeah.
He truly believes I'm the best. And it doesn't matter who I fight. I'll beat everybody.
Yeah.
And I think Errol Spence is like, I don't know if I can take that guy. Question mark. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right? And I think Terrence Crawford knows he can take anybody. I think that's the big difference between those two.
Yeah. There was some talk maybe that Josh Taylor would be his next opponent. We'll see what shakes down, but a hell of a great night of boxing there. Man, I'm super happy I got a chance to see it. One of my favorite fights of all time. Super tight fight for the first 6 rounds. And then Terrence Crawford had figured out him and was able to just put on the pressure necessary, finally find his shots and take him out. And I have so much respect for his abilities, and great chance to see, somebody at the top of their game, prime, just phenomenal boxer. That's just a joy to watch.
Yeah, like he's just he's a, what do they call it? What's that term? Generational talent.
Yeah.
That you just will not see a person of that kind of level too often or ever again.
Yeah.
No. He's just that good. He is that good.
Absolutely amazing. Yeah. So, okay. So, let's put the combat sports to bed and we'll turn to NBA. We've had some interesting developments this past week, and the suspensions have been handed down over an ugly incident yesterday. Remember the Malice at the Palace? That was probably one of the biggest black marks on the NBA over the years. This wasn't rivaling that, but LeBron was not very cool, decided to punch Isaiah Stewart while they were on the side waiting for a free throw to happen, cut him for 8 stitches. And Stewart lost his mind, went after LeBron on massive amount of occasions, throwing people down like he was a running back trying to head for the end zone. And now they've thrown out suspensions. And what do you think they got?
Okay, this is fun. I like this. I love this game. This is a good game. All right, number 1 for LeBron James, face of the league, made a mistake. Bloodied the man up pretty good after that punch. Like, he decked him good. But, it makes us a lot of money. 1 game. 1 game suspension for LeBron.
You're right. Yeah, he got 1 game. Yeah.
Of course he did. No, Isaiah Stewart. Nobody knows you. You play for Detroit. Lost your mind. You look like a crazy person, possibly a villain. 4 or 5 games.
Oh, good guess, but no, they only gave him 2, which really
Oh.
surprised me. Really surprised me. I thought,
Oh,
I thought he was going to be gone all week for sure.
Yeah, okay. So they gave him some rope because they said, okay, well, he did get decked in the face hard.
Yeah.
He got decked hard. So we're gonna give him. Okay, so he was clearly pissed off. He was mad, and because like you looked at the replay of that, he got blood all over his face. It looked like he was at a UFC fight.
Yeah.
All right.
I know,
So,
it was brutal. Yeah, it was brutal.
It was brutal. It was,
Yeah,
it
and he
was
wasn't
not-
doing anything. Then LeBron just punched him in the face,
Yeah.
sort of hammer fist to the face. Like
Hey,
that was, it was really brutal. But you're right. LeBron's the face of the league, and they want to just give him a little slap and say, "Bad LeBron." First suspension of his career, 19 years, first suspension. So he's not a dirty guy. Hasn't been involved in a lot of stupid things that have got him suspended. He has done stupid things, and I have a bit of a list whenever anybody wants to ask me about it. But yeah, just the one game. But it still costs him $284,000, and it costs Stewart $45,000. So $284,000. You know what? The Lakers team actually gets to save that off their luxury tax because they're over, and because they don't have to pay them that, they get to save some money. So they're actually kind of happy, maybe too. This doesn't get into that luxury tax thing that they're going to have to face at the end of the year.
Okay, well, maybe LeBron's like, maybe I'll help you guys out a little bit more. I'm going to be dirty LeBron this year and start hitting people all the time.
That's awesome. Yeah, it could be. Let's see. So Stuart, this is Miami Tuesday, Milwaukee Wednesday. LeBron's out versus the Knicks tomorrow night, Tuesday night. But guess what? These teams play each other on Sunday, 1 week apart. They have these games against each other. Are we going to see something escalate, blow up in the rematch?
Right off from the start of the tip, Stewart doesn't even go for the ball. He goes for LeBron's jugular. Blatant choke right away.
All right, a good call, man. That's going to be awesome. I can't wait to tune in. This could be the highest watched Pistons game
ever. Because everybody's just like
bad boy days. Since the bad boy days, I think maybe there's never been that big of a crowd for the Pistons.
No, man, no. He's. I think Isaiah Stewart's going to channel his inner Bill Lambier. Just start hammering LeBron. You come down the lane, buddy. You're getting hammered.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's going to be anticipated. A lot of people are going to be tuning in. It's crazy that they face each other so soon, just right around the corner. Pistons are 4-12 this year. Horrifically bad start. Second worst team in the Eastern Conference. And the Lakers aren't having a good year by their standards, 9-9. Really, struggling. But frustration. I don't know if LeBron's pissed off about this 9-9 record and how things are going, but it was sort of uncharacteristic to see him punch a guy and draw blood.
I think he's frustrated. I think he's clearly frustrated. I think he feels that the team should be way better or farther along than it literally is at this point in time. I think he's frustrated.
Yeah.
And I think he looks at the team and goes, I don't know if I can make it better.
Yeah.
Question mark. Because he's not young LeBron anymore. He's old LeBron. So, yeah.
Another team that's severely struggling and has been for a long time is the Sacramento Kings, and they decided to part ways with their coach, Luke Walton, fired him on Sunday. This is his third season, 6-11 they are coming out of the gate, lost 3 in a row. They lost 123-105 on Sunday to Utah. He finishes with a 68 93 final record with them. The Kings are on a 15-year no playoff drought. That is tied the record with the LA Clippers, who didn't make the playoffs between 77 and 91. 15 years without the playoffs. You can't blame this on Walton, but they thought coming out of Golden State, he'd be able to come there, give him a new identity, maybe the possibility of winning. But what do you do when you're, coaching the Kings?
You can't give a new identity to a team that sucks. You just can't do it. Like, he tried really hard, and he's got some really good pieces, but they still suck. Horrible, bad. And also, too, unfortunately, the one player that they drafted, Marvin Bagley, didn't turn out like at all.
Oh, that was done the year before he got there.
That screwed him.
They picked Marvin Bagley over Luka Doncic and Trae Young. Wow, like they have to have one of the worst scouting departments in the history of the game to pick Marvin Bagley over those two guys. That's
reminiscent of the draft year with Jordan and Hakeem Olajuwon, and then you picked that dude, one guy. Man,
the name will come to us in a sec, but shocking.
It is on the same level, and so when you do something like that, you know what happens? What happened? You lose your job. You don't have your job anymore.
Yeah,
you suck. You're really bad at your job.
They should clean house there, get rid of the whole scouting department and say, we need some new blood in here. Alvin Gentry takes over. He spent 5 years with the Pelicans, finished in 2020. He's also coached Miami, Detroit, the Clippers, and the Suns. His overall record, 510, 595, not amazing, but it's not a high ceiling in Sacramento. Luke Walton actually has the second best winning percentage since they've been in Sacramento for a head coach. 18 coaches. His 422 winning percentage is the second best they've had there.
Amazing. What an amazing job. That's just incredible work. No, man, that just shows you how bad the organization has been, like, for so long. The only time that they were good, they had a shot, Weber, Peja Stojakovic, Mike Bibby.
Yeah,
that's when they had a shot. They had a chance. They were good then, and it never happened ever again after that.
It's been rough. It's been rough. Yeah. Okay, let's not talk about these sad sack teams. Let's talk about some of the good teams. We've got the Warriors sitting atop the NBA again, 15-2, 6-1 on the road, 9-1 at home, won 4 in a row, 9-1 in their last 10, just lighting this league up. And they're undermanned still. They don't have Klay Thompson. They don't have James Wiseman. And they're dominating the league. Great to see against the Raptors yesterday, but they're even Klay. Even Steph had an off game. But Poole came in, had a great game. They had Wiggins had a phenomenal game, and it didn't matter. This team is deep again and lethal in so many areas.
Yeah, they got shooters everywhere. The one thing that I love about the Golden State offense, which I think I've said before, they have movement all the time. Even if a guy's dancing with the ball, they're still moving off ball at all times, cutting, screening, cutting some more. Like, I just love the way that their offense flows.
Yeah.
I love the flow of their offense. It's a beautiful thing to watch.
Oh, great.
And the rest of the league should be terrified of this team because they're still missing that other splash brother who's getting his reps in. Amazing. And once that guy gets his NBA legs under him, give him a month and a half.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That I dipped out a second. Once that guy comes back,
Trouble.
oh, you are in trouble.
For the league, yeah. Trouble for the league. Yeah. Phoenix Suns, fresh off their incredible performance through the playoffs last year, going to the final. They've won 12 games in a row, 13-3 record. Unreal that they have been able to figure it out, even though they didn't re-up DeAndre Ayton. This team is just playing as good as they were through this playoff run last year.
Okay, and also too, maybe they're making a point. Like I know Chris Paul always makes a point somehow, in some way. And I would say this: he probably looked at the boys and said, "Listen, this is it. This might be our only shot at getting to the promised land, because we might not have this guy next year, because our owner's cheap. So we got to go for it. We got to go for the gusto. We have to go for it this year. This has to be the year." And it's just awesome to see that they absolutely are going for it. And maybe through all of this, maybe through this season, once it ends, the owner's convinced of, maybe I do need that guy to win. Maybe I got to pay him, and I'm just going to have to bite the bullet, pay the luxury tax, whatever the heck it may be, and pay this man. Because I think he's worth it, personally.
I know. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Well, maybe him betting on himself will work out in the end, and he'll get a massive deal. Hopefully it'll be with the Suns, but if not, I'm sure there'll be a lineup of teams that want him. He's a very valuable guy and has a very bright future ahead of him.
Yeah, for sure. He does have a very bright future ahead of him. I just hope that future is with the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah. Let's turn to the East a little bit. Let's talk about some of the top teams at the top. Bulls and the Nets are tied, both 12-5 record up at the top. All the additions that the Bulls have made have really been paying off. They really seem to be a cohesive unit, even though lots of different faces there. And one of the elite teams now in the East again.
They made all the right moves. And I believe Vucevic is still not in the lineup.
Yeah.
That guy's still waiting in the wings, so to speak. So, and there's 12-5. Yeah, that's a great team right there. That's a fantastic team.
Yeah, you're right. Amazing team. I'm really impressed. The Heat are looking great. Kyle Lowry's fit in there really well. We both thought he would and make that team elite again. He looks like he's having a blast there. He said today that he plans to retire a Raptor, but he's probably going to be fitted for a ring before he does that.
Oh yeah, man. I've always considered Kyle Lowry a Raptor, and I'm glad that he considers himself a Raptor as well. But for the time being, he's a Miami Heat player, and he's going for a ring, and that team looks good.
Yeah.
Really good. Especially with the fact that now Tyler Hero has gone from his sophomore woes to his third year, and he's playing like the player that they expected him to be. Playing great basketball.
Super solid player this year. Yeah, I loved watching him play this weekend. Phenomenal talent. Another team I'm loving watching is the Wizards. Man, they're stacked. The guys that they got for Westbrook and the guys that they've added. Fun team to watch, and they had a huge comeback against the Heat on Friday, and I'm really blown away how quickly they've turned this around, and they look great.
Yeah, and I think that the guy that you could point to has been one of the architects for said turnaround is Spencer Dinwiddie.
Yeah,
like he's really been the engine that's driven that offense, that team, and the fact that the guys that they have, they just got a bunch of great players, really good players, and they just keep coming at you. Yeah. I never would have expected that the Washington Wizards would be at the top of the East. Like, what are you talking about? The Wizards?
Yeah.
Like, when was the last time that happened?
Amazing.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I was alive.
Yeah.
I don't think I was alive. I don't think I was here on this planet. Yeah.
I visited Washington a few times before, and I was really quite shocked at the violence there. And I was really taken aback that it had become such a city full of violence. I wanted to go to the Capitol building. I wanted to go, see a lot of the monuments, different things, and see the city. But I was really quite shocked. And do you remember what they were called before they changed to the Wizards?
I thought that change had a lot to do with no. Probably didn't have anything to do with Gilbert Arenas, but it does remind me of Gilbert Arenas. The Bullets. The Bullets.
Yeah. So I stumped my girlfriend Lowry with that question. She didn't remember what they were called. But I think that was brought on, that change, because there was so many bullets flying around that city, lots of murders, murder capital of the country quite often per capita. And I mean, I can't remember when the Washington franchise was really relevant, really up near the top. It's really escapes me from. I don't remember when they were, a team that you thought had a shot anywhere near top of the conference.
Because it's never existed. It's never been a thing. Like this is like it's bizarre. Like it's like I'm living in bizarro world where Washington is at the top of the East. Like, what are you talking about? No, man, that's not supposed to be a thing. That's never supposed to happen.
No.
But it is happening.
Yeah.
And if I'm a Wizards fan, I'd be like, oh my God. Like I'd be crying. Like I never thought I'd see the day. Because we're relevant. They're relevant.
Amazing.
Never thought I'd see the day.
Absolutely incredible. Yeah. What a turnaround. Okay. Just one game I want to point out, tonight's score. Bucks put up 123. Magic, they're not good, but there are 3, 7, 9, 4, 7. There's 7 players in double figures for the Bucks tonight, and they had a massive win. Are they going to turn this around? Are we going to see the Bucks creeping back up to the top of this conference?
Of course they are. Yeah. I would say indefinitely. They had to deal with a lot of injuries. I think some COVID stuff. Once their players come back, that team is way too good to be bottom dwellers.
Okay.
That will change as soon as they get all their players back. Yeah. I'm not even worried about them.
And what about the Sixers?
There's that whole Ben Simmons thing that I guess eventually they'll have to deal with. But for now, they're doing well. They're doing better than what I thought they would have with the distraction of Ben Simmons. So, but that's something that will definitely have to be addressed at some point in time. They can't ignore it forever.
They're getting beat by the Kings tonight. So, Alvin Gentry.
Not good.
Alvin Gentry's just taking the Kings right to the top. We're going to finally see playoffs. Well, man, this was fun as always. We had to talk about the worst UFC card in the history of man, but we got to talk about the best sandwich we've ever had. We got to talk about, an incredible night out concert-wise. It'd been way too long since I had been out having that much fun. Great weekend. I have this, I mentioned it to you before. I have serious FOMO, and I always have had it. It's just rampant sometimes. And now that I've unleashed myself towards these concerts, you might see me out all the time. But I also have so much FOMO over missing great sporting events. And it's just tugging at me every weekend. Should I be watching all these sporting events? Should I be doing stuff? It's a tough battle, man. It's a really tough battle.
Well, you just gotta find a balance, my friend. Sometimes if I'm doing something for the weekend, that's my plan, and then I don't regret it.
Nice.
Because why would I? Why should I regret if I have plans for the weekend? I'm just not going to regret it. I'm just going to go forward, and I'm going to do what I planned for said weekend. And then later on, if I got to see the highlights of the sports or whatever the events that went on for the weekend, see those highlights, then I'll watch those later. But I can't stay indoors all the time. I can't. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Of course not. Yeah. Well, I'm super happy your commute tomorrow is one of the shortest you've ever had. Mine's pretty short too. I'll see you bright and early in the morning. Thanks for doing this as always. And let's try to find a great lunch tomorrow.
Definitely, we will do that, my friend. We will find a great lunch tomorrow, and we will have ourselves another great day.
Awesome. Okay, buddy. Cheers. Thanks again. All the best.
You got it.
Okay, another fantastic edition of Complete Sports Media's podcast is in the books. We had fun. There was a lot going on this weekend. I have to find that balance. I got to get out. I got to also watch sports. I got a PVR and I gotta be out. But I also, let me sort it out. I'll sort it out. I'll get it sorted out. It's taken me a lot of years, but I'll figure it out. Thanks for tuning in as always. And quick shout out to our partners and sponsors, Anchor.fm, easiest place to make a podcast. We've got Verbero, the hockey equipment and apparel company, industry leader in technology, performance, and value. V350 stick, you know it. Pampas and Possibilities, amazing West Coast designers of pretty things for your homes. And Forever Living, the aloe vera company for health and beauty products. Thank you for your continued support, and you as well. Go to our website, completemedianetwork.com, Complete Sports Media, all the other sights and sounds we have there. Love you lots. Take care of yourself. Have a great week ahead. Thanks for everybody that helped out. And we'll see you very soon. Take care. Bye for now.